in my own hometown. Stranger.
Hey folks, Little John. In the brewery, I'm going to do a quick photograph of today. As I discussed earlier, this is in the what's going to happen in January. So I'll be doing this fella. It's the Craft-a-brew fermenter. You've seen this before. This is the kit it comes with. It's a 1 gallon batch. Comes with a small carboy, bits and pieces. The recipe, which is a stone pale ale. Come with a bag of malt. 567 grams there of Breeze Pilsen malt. Bag of pre-milled grains. Weighed it up, there's about 140 grams of grains there. I don't know what kind they are. Yeah, some sort of special. There's a bit of dark in there, so it's probably a mix of crystal and maybe a chocolate or even a darker crystal. Got a couple of packs of hops. There's Columbus there for bittering, and there's Artnum for the 10-minute flavour edition and a flame out edition as well. Comes with a little bit of yeast, which I weighed. It's only a couple of grams there, but it's supposed to be enough to do the batch. It's only going to be, like I said, only a gallon. It's only about 4 litres, so I should do it. Bit of a grain bag for the grain, and an airlock and some pieces. Rubber bung to go in there. She also came with a little bit of sanitizer, which I'll do shortly. Didn't come with instructions, but I was able to download those off their website. Now it's an American kit, so the instructions are in American, but it's only the temperature, so I'll convert them so I know what I'm looking at. But it's a basic extract and grain. So it's a basic partial recipe. So at the moment I've just got my water coming up to temp so I can steep these grains, and I'm looking for about 67, 68, which I'm going to be very, very close to, I'd imagine. Yeah, it's about 67, pushing 68, so I'll shut that off. So the first thing the instructions tell me is they want me to pour a gallon of water into the pot to steep the grains. Now, I've calculated what I need all up, and I'm going to, instead of trying to top up the back, I want to work backwards. So I've got about 6.8 litres of water in the pot. And it's just sitting on the top plate. Yeah, and there's definitely some darker grain in there. Yeah, might be to roast this up. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's something to give it a little bit extra. But obviously, being it's a stone recipe, they want to keep that under their hats a little bit. So they're telling me to add my grain into my bag and put that in, which I'll do. And they told me 68 degrees, 155 Fahrenheit. Steep the grains for 15 minutes. So in they'll go, and I'll just keep an eye on that temperature over the next 15 minutes and see how that goes. Oh, and wouldn't you know it, my timer's died. Instant I turn it on, it died on me. Okay, well that's good. Hey, isn't it great when things stuff up on you? Yeah, no, they've died. So, all good. I'll put that on my phone. See? So, not everything goes perfect in movie land, does it? All good. So, we'll give that 15 minutes. Then once that's finished, we'll bring it back. We'll pull. Tells us to pull the bag out, and then to bring it up to a boil before we add our malt in. So I'll get that happening and I'll come back when we put the malt in. Righto, so 15 minutes is gone, so we're going to take the grain bag out. Now it says clearly in the instructions, remove and discard the grains, making sure not to squeeze the excess water from the grains. This will release unwanted tannins. So we'll slit him out and just give it a minute to drain. Because obviously we don't want to squeeze it. Now I'm not one, I don't particularly believe in the whole squeezing the bag thing. I think it's not a problem, but we want to stick with the instructions, so that's what we'll do. That's about it. I'll get rid of that. Pop our heat back on, because it says now to next bring your wort to the boil. So we'll crank it back up. Lid out of there. Spoon. Lid back on. And we'll let that come to a boil. Okay, we've hit the boil. So, as per the instructions, I am turning the heat off so I can add the malt. As it says, to turn off the heat once it's reached the boil, and then add this and stir it in. So that's what I'll do. There you go. So in it goes with the mix. So I'm going to put the heat back into that. And I'll just watch it. It comes back to the boil, make sure we don't have a nasty boil over. And then we'll get our hops in. Rightio, so we've returned to the boil. It didn't take too long. And so now we're going with our bittering hops, which is Columbus. And they don't smell too bad, considering, you know, who knows how old they are. Well, 4 grams of the brew. In she goes. That's a 60-minute addition. And next one is 10 minutes, so I'll be back in 50 minutes to put the next lot in. In the meantime, I'll have myself a bit of a brew. Okay, so we're at the end of the boil. 10 minutes hops have been in for 10 minutes. And one amount of hops are going in now. 13 grams of the artemum. Now what's happened is, because I'm working off my little cooktop, it hasn't kept a solid boil going. So now at this point the instructions say to turn off the stove and create an ice bath to cool the wort down. Now, given that this boil hasn't gone particularly hard, and I'm a bit concerned I haven't got as good hop utilisation as I would have, I'm going to stick the pot into the brew fridge, which is sitting on currently about 2 degrees. It's set on about 2 degrees. It's still sitting there from the cold crash. yesterday of cherry ripe porter. So I'm going to stick it in there and let it cool down in there. So what I'm thinking is that's going to give me a little bit longer at the elevated temperature, so the hops are going to get a chance to do a little bit more that they really haven't got to do during the boil. Now, yes, it is going away from the recipe a little bit, but given, as I said, the lack of boil, I think it's going to really give us a fairly similar result. It's not going to make a lot. I don't think it's going to make a huge amount of difference anyway. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll pop that in, and we'll come back later when we are putting it into the carboy, which at the moment is just got some sanitizer in it, which is the stuff that come with the kit. I'm assuming, looking at it, it's just sodium bicarbonate. So that's going to sit for a little bit longer, and then we'll get that out. So we'll come back when we're ready to transfer into the fermenter. Righto. So the brew's been sitting in the ferment fridge for about an hour and a half, trying to cool. It's still quite warm. Obviously there's a bit of thermal mass there, so I'm going to transfer it off into the carboy, and then let it finish cooling from there. So hopefully this goes alright. I think the instructions say to siphon this off, but it's not a process I'm really fond of, so this will do for now. Get this in there alright. There's enough volume in this pot to clear off the bottom. And we'll probably squeeze a bit more in there, but for the moment we'll just let that sit, settle, and we'll top up only a little bit more. It says to go to 1 gallon, so won't get much more in there. Bit of foam where that is. And I think that'll do us. So that's still too warm to pitch. It's smelling quite nice. Okay, so just going to rehydrate the yeast. Now, it's about 3.5 grams of yeast in here, so I've got about 40 mils of cooled boiled water. Just throw that on top, and I will cover that. I'll go grab some foil, cover that up, and let that sit for about 15 minutes. Mix them up a bit, and about half an hour we'll be right to pitch, and our wort should be somewhere in around that pitching range. It's not too far off at the moment, so come back when we're pitching. Bloody bugs. Don't need bugs in things. We're at temp, so I just want to get a bit of extra oxygen into here before I pitch the yeast. Rock around. I would have got a bit in here when we transferred from the boil kettle, but get a good whack in there. So I've rehydrated the yeast. It's ready to go. I'll pop that in a sec. So I'll brew this one at 18 degrees. I'm assuming we got probably USO 5 in the yeast. So my teams are good. Yeah. I'm not 100% confident on how good the yeast is going to be. This pack's been sitting around for who knows how long. I don't think it's particularly old, but I don't know how well the yeast has been looked after. It's been sitting here in the garage, which has been sitting on high 20s since fairly constantly since Christmas. So this yeast hasn't had the best run, and ideally I wouldn't be pitching it, but we're doing the kit as it comes, so that means pitching the yeast as it is. So in she goes. Bung back in. Give him some more shake, but you can't have enough. I mean, there's plenty of oxygen in there. You can see it in there. I'm thinking that'll do me. So we've got an airlock in there. Spraying a bit with the old sanitizer, and we'll throw a bit in there. Now, these newer ones don't suck water back in like the old S-shape does, so it's not quite as important what you put in there, but that's pretty much my go-to for any airlock. Sanitizer, so I'll put him in. Should be all good. And I said that'll go in the fridge now, so that's at 18 degrees. Yeah, we'll give that 2 weeks and it'll be ready to bottle up. Or maybe a bit less. We'll just see how we go. See when I need the fridge for the next brew. So that's it. That's the Craft-a-brew fermenter kit. Yeah, if you see one around, might be interested in giving it a crack. That's not too bad. It's pretty easy. Like I said, main thing for me is that it's quite small. But if you've got a restricted amount of space, it's certainly something you can maybe look at. Or even for doing little trial batches. A little bit of extract, play around with some hops and whatnot. I said this one with Columbus and Artnum. I've never used Artnum before, so this is going to be something new to me. So I'll learn something from this brew. So this is certainly one way of doing it without going to the trouble of doing big batches or half a batch. Just a simple pot, boil it up, and away you go. Pretty straightforward. So that's me for the day. Hit subscribe down the bottom there if you want. If you got any further questions, pop them down there as well. I'm happy to answer them. So that's me for the day. So until I'm looking at you again and we're playing around with some beer or having a drink or whatever it is we do, good brewing.